In a high-rise apartment in downtown Denver, where the city lights reflected off every pane of glass, Elena Ramirez, 34, stood by the window, her eyes cold as ice. She was the daughter her family cast aside, the one treated like an outsider in the very home where she grew up. They had once told her straight to her face, "You'll never belong here." Her mother, Rosa, always favored her eldest son, Victor, a man who failed time and again, yet was endlessly indulged. Her younger sister, Camila, became the golden child, right or wrong, while Elena was nothing more than a quiet shadow at family gatherings. That tragedy revolved around the old wooden mansion by Crystal Lake, the symbol of the Ramirez family's tradition, and the very place Elena was excluded from countless reunions. What was at stake wasn't just memories, but honor and the right to exist within her own family. They dismissed her, cut her out of every decision, while Elena quietly climbed to the top of her career, becoming one of the youngest and most powerful executives in finance. Yet the truth was never spoken aloud. And when Elena discovered the secret behind the rushed sale of the Crystal Lake estate, she knew this wasn't about emotions anymore. It was time to rewrite the entire game. In the world of revenge stories, where the once powerless become the ones who make the rules, the Ramirez family was about to face a truth they could no longer escape. And when the door of the old mansion finally swung open, this was only the beginning. Elena Ramirez grew up in a small house on the outskirts of Denver, where winter mornings were covered in white snow and the smell of her mother's cornbread filled the kitchen, yet somehow it never gave her a true sense of warmth. As the middle child of 3, Elena quickly understood her place. Not the beacon of hope like her older brother Victor, and not the baby like her younger sister Camila. From an early age, she carried a quiet, patient, and stubborn nature. She taught herself to read books under the dim glow of her desk lamp, while Victor was taken by their father on business errands, and Camila was escorted by their mother to ballet lessons. One detail Elena would never forget was the long wooden bench on the porch of the Crystal Lake mansion. It was where the whole family sat sipping hot cocoa during the holidays. But whenever she approached, her mother Rosa would give a look that said, "Sit on the side bench, leave this spot for your brother." From that moment, Elena realized she had no real place in her own family. She always carried a brown leather notebook she had bought at a flea market. In it, Elena wrote down everything: grades, small school awards, and quiet journal entries. No one in the family knew that this notebook was her driving force, her proof that she mattered. Every time she was pushed out of conversations, left alone in the kitchen, she wrote, "One day, they will have to hear me." Her father, Hector, was the only one who occasionally showed sympathy, but never enough to protect her. "Elena, don't take it so hard. In families, everyone has different roles," he once said warily.
Roles?
"Like being invisible, Dad?" she replied, eyes brimming with tears. Hector fell silent, offering no answer. As she grew older, Elena noticed that every family tradition revolved around Crystal Lake. The green pinewood mansion, its white paint faded, its red-tiled roof, was the symbol Rosa always pointed to. "Whoever owns the house keeps the tradition," Rosa often declared. What seemed like an offhand remark became an unwritten law, a rule Elena would one day turn into a weapon. Evidence. Who owns the house keeps the tradition. In high school, Elena earned scholarships with excellence, yet no one in the family came to her award ceremonies. Meanwhile, when Victor scored a single goal in a small soccer game, the whole family threw a party. Camila finished a ballet recital and was showered with flowers and gifts. Elena rode her bike home alone, clutching a certificate no one cared to ask about. "You need to be more realistic," Rosa scolded once when she caught Elena reading books on finance. "Books won't feed you. Look at Victor. He's already helping with the family business." Elena stayed silent, but a fire blazed inside. Her routine was to wake before dawn, run around the small neighborhood lake with classical music in her headphones. While running, she imagined leaving that suffocating house and stepping into a world where effort alone defined worth. It was the only way she survived those years of being dismissed. At 18, Elena applied for a full university scholarship. When the acceptance letter from Boston arrived for finance, she proudly brought it home. Her mother's reaction was ice cold. "Boston's too far. A girl shouldn't be on her own. Just stay here, study accounting at community college, and help your sister later. Elena clutched the letter, trembling. Mom, I'll take care of myself. I don't need anyone's money. Rosa froze, while Victor sneered. Go ahead, see how long you last. True to her word, Elena left with just $200 and her brown leather notebook. Part-time jobs, waiting tables, working in the library, tutoring, sustained her through college. Every time she got an A, she wrote it down, silent proof she wasn't useless like they believed. Meanwhile, the Ramirez family stayed bound to the Crystal Lake mansion. Every year, reunions filled its walls with photos, except one missing face. Elena's. She still received the email invites, but with a note, sorry, no more rooms. Eventually, even those emails stopped coming. By 30, Elena had become a rising star in an international finance firm. She bought a Denver penthouse, drove an Audi sports car, yet a void remained. The memory of being excluded from that lakeside mansion. And above all, Rosa's words still echoed, whoever owns the house keeps the tradition. Marcus Lee, her close colleague, once asked, ever thought about going back? Elena smirked, back for what? To hear them call me useless again? Marcus studied her. No, to show them the truth, to make them see what they missed. It seemed the past could stay buried until the day Elena received an email from Camila. Subject, family reunion at Crystal Lake. But once again, her name wasn't on the list of recipients. The pain stabbed deep. In that instant, Elena opened her laptop and by chance saw a real estate listing. Crystal Lake House, urgent sale. She held her breath, zooming in on the screen. The family mansion was being sold off. And worse, the name on the transaction was Victor Ramirez. Elena gripped her brown leather notebook, her heart pounding. Could this be the very chance she had waited 20 years for? That morning, Elena sat in her 25th floor office at the firm, Denver's light pouring through the glass walls. Her computer screen still displayed dense contract reports, but her eyes were fixed on an email tab left open. The subject line glared clearly, Family Reunion at Crystal Lake, save the date. Sender, Camila Ramirez. Elena clicked it open. The recipient list stretched long, relatives, old friends, even a few neighbors from around the lake. But her name was missing, as if she had never existed. A suffocating weight pressed in her chest, like a slap in broad daylight. Evidence number 1, email AM. Family reunion at Crystal Lake, save the date. Dear family, as every year, we'll gather again at the mansion at the end of this month. Please confirm so we can arrange rooms. Elena gripped her mouse, hand trembling. For a moment, she remembered being 16 when the message came. Sorry, the house is full. You'll have to give your room to guests. The same excuse, repeated endlessly, as if fate had decreed she would never belong in that house. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother, Rosa. Elena, don't take it to heart. This year we're crowded, not enough rooms. Next time will be different. Elena laughed, a hoarse sound filling the sleek but cold office. Next time? How many times had she heard that? 10, 20. Every year, the same excuse. She opened another browser tab. And then, fate handed her a second blow. Right beside her inbox was the real estate page she had left open the night before to review investments. There, in bold red letters, for sale, Crystal Lake House, urgent sale. Elena froze, staring at the screen. The image appeared, the white painted wooden mansion with its red roof, the long porch overlooking the still lake, the place where she once cried after being pushed away from the main table. The place that had seen her mother's cold stares, Victor's smug smiles, Camila's careless praise. Now it was listed for sale. She scrolled down to the details. Seller, Victor Ramirez. Rage surged, burning in her chest. Her brother, who had never held a steady job for more than 6 months, was secretly selling off the only asset tied to their family's memory. No one told her. No one asked. Elena stood, walking to the glass wall, hands shaking. So this is it. They're not only excluding me from the reunion, they're selling the tradition itself, erasing me completely. Marcus Lee, her closest colleague, knocked and stepped in with 2 cups of coffee. Elena, what's wrong? He stopped when he saw her pale face. Elena pushed the screen toward him. Look, the reunion email. My name's not there. And she switched tabs, showing the listing. This. Marcus frowned. They cut you out, and now they're selling the house behind your back? That's too much. Elena drew a shaky breath. Crystal Lake, My mother used to say, whoever owns the house keeps the tradition. They don't want me tied to it, not even through memory. Then you do the opposite, Marcus said firmly. Show them who really controls it. You've got the money, the power. Don't just sit here swallowing the hurt. Elena looked down at the coffee cup, a tear rolling down but her voice hard as steel. If they erased my name from the family wall, I'll carve it into every brick of that house. She sat back down, opened her laptop, and hovered the cursor over Contact Agent. Her heartbeat raced, breath short. Images flooded her mind, Rosa laughing by the fireplace, Victor boasting at the dinner table, Camila basking in praise. Elena, Marcus said softly, are you sure? This isn't a normal investment. This is war. Elena didn't lift her head, her voice sharp as a blade. Yes, and I've been ready for this war since 15 years ago. The cursor stopped, then clicked decisively. An auto message appeared. Thank you for your interest. The agent will reach out soon. Elena leaned back, heart pounding wildly. This wasn't just a click. This was a declaration of war. She didn't know it yet, but buying Crystal Lake was only the spark. Behind that seemingly simple contract lay a much larger scheme, and for Elena, the pain of being excluded was just the beginning. But worse was coming. 3 days after Elena quietly signed the deposit agreement for the mansion, she drove to Crystal Lake to check the property's condition. The late afternoon was gray and cold, the lake winds sharp. She had just unlocked the front door with her new key when the rumble of engines sounded behind her. 3 SUVs pulled into the driveway. The first to step out was her mother Rosa, followed by Victor and Camila with their kids. Elena froze for a few seconds. Why are they here this early? She whispered. The family clutched their old set of keys, struggling to open the door. No way, the keys stuck, Camila snapped in frustration. Victor's voice grew harsh. Elena, why are you here? What are you doing in our house? Elena inhaled deeply, keeping her voice calm. Not our house anymore. Try your key, you'll understand. Rosa's face faltered, her eyes lost. The family was stunned when Elena pulled out the new deed along with the transaction receipt. Evidence number 2, property deed copy. County Office 10, owner, Crystal Lake Holdings LLC, Representative Elena Ramirez. Victor's face turned crimson as he shouted. What trick did you pull? But Elena simply answered, I did what none of you thought I'd dare to do. Protect this place legally. That evening, back in her Denver penthouse, Elena's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Messages poured in from colleagues, the press, even LinkedIn. A leaked report from inside the company spread. Elena Ramirez nominated as Regional Managing Director for Asia, Singapore. Elena was stunned. This wasn't supposed to be public yet. She reached to shut her phone off when the doorbell rang. Marcus stood there, holding an early edition newspaper. The news is out, Elena. It's everywhere. And guess what? Your family's reading it too. Elena bit her lip, pulse hammering. Minutes later, her phone lit up with Rosa's name. Elena, is this true? Did you really achieve that? Rosa's voice was equal parts shock and panic. Elena's tone was cold. I've gone further than you ever imagined, and this is only the beginning. The nomination shook the family even harder. While the public celebrated her, Victor poisoned relatives with gossip. She only got ahead through tricks, not talent. Camila sent a trembling text. Please, don't humiliate the family in front of the world. Elena felt utterly alone, praised everywhere, yet still denied by the only voices she longed to hear. 2 days later, at a lawyer's office finalizing the transfer, Elena stumbled across the property's financial files. Inside was a stack of loans and mortgages under Victor's name, co-signed by Rosa. 3 years of unpaid taxes, interest ballooning towards 6 figures. Elena sat still, vision blurring. She called her mother immediately. Why would you sign these loans, Mom? You knew Victor couldn't pay. On the other end, Rosa sighed. I believed your brother would turn things around. That's the duty of the eldest son. And you weren't here. I couldn't rely on you. Elena's grip tightened on the phone, her voice breaking. Couldn't rely on me? So you'd sell off tradition itself, leaving me the outsider forever? Victor grabbed the phone, yelling, You have no right to judge. This is a man's responsibility. Elena laughed bitterly. Funny, the men of this family still need Mom's signature to back their bad debts. Impressive. The call ended in dead silence. Elena realized the betrayal wasn't just emotional. Her family had dragged their legacy to the brink of collapse. The evidence in her hands could destroy them publicly, yet instead of feeling triumphant, she felt more isolated than ever. She held the keys, but bore the crushing weight of tradition alone. Back in her penthouse, Elena sat alone under the soft yellow glow. Outside, the media cheered, colleagues congratulated, friends messaged. But inside, she felt hollow. Family, what should have been her safe harbor, was now the battlefield. Marcus tried to reassure her. "You're doing the right thing, Elena. This is the kind of revenge story people in real life long to see, the outcast becoming the one who makes the rules." But Elena whispered, "I'm not writing this story for an audience. I just wanted, for once, to be seen as family." Tears fell onto her keyboard, mixing with the light from a new email. Sender, Camila. Subject, Elena, I'm sorry. But Victor is planning something. The body was short, trembling. He said he won't let you control Crystal Lake. He's preparing a big move. Elena slammed her laptop shut, heart racing. She knew Victor's nature, reckless, arrogant, always overreaching in every gamble. And this time he was about to strike with something far more dangerous than a secret sale. That night, Elena's penthouse lay shrouded in darkness. She sat frozen on the sofa, phone in hand, scrolling through frantic messages from Camila. The rushed, jumbled words spelled out something serious. Victor doesn't just want to sell. He has another plan. Be careful. Sleep never came. The next morning, she walked into her lawyer's office to continue the transfer process for the mansion. On the desk lay a fresh stack of documents, marked with a red clip. The lawyer slid it toward her. "There's a detail you need to know. The house had been listed for another buyer before you placed your deposit. This company was introduced by Victor." Elena opened the file, her heart sinking. Inside was a draft transfer agreement under the name of a shell company, Golden Pine Investments LLC. At the bottom, Victor's unfinished signature glared back. Evidence 3, draft sale agreement, timestamp 11, buyer, Golden Pine Investments LLC, introduced by Victor Ramirez, status pending. She lifted her head, voice hoarse. "Golden Pine? Who's behind it?" The lawyer inhaled sharply. "We checked. It's a shell, created just a month ago. The financial trail links directly to Rosa Ramirez." Elena went numb. "My mother?" The lawyer nodded. "She co-signed Victor's loans, and now she's behind this company. If the deal had closed, the property would be back in their hands and you'd be cut out. They'd claim you were just an intruder, never entitled to Crystal Lake." Memories flooded. Rosa shoving her hand off the dinner table, Rosa sending her to the kitchen while Victor took the head seat. Rosa wasn't just a biased mother anymore. She was the mastermind pulling strings to erase Elena once and for all. Elena let out a shaky laugh. "So they never changed. I thought Victor was acting alone, but turns out." Marcus called at that moment, his voice tense. "Elena, I'm hearing chatter from inside the bank. Rosa and Victor are preparing a new financing package to reclaim Crystal Lake. They may file an objection to your transaction." "Objection? They have no right." Elena snapped. Marcus replied slowly. "Legally, if they argue the initial sale contract was never properly voided, they could delay the process. And time is what they need to build their story against you." The next day, news spread faster than she imagined. On a local real estate forum, a post appeared. "Ramirez family dispute. Daughter tries to seize Crystal Lake." It painted Elena as an opportunist, exploiting success to steal the family legacy. Comments poured in with scorn. "Ungrateful child. Made it big and came back to snatch the house. Shameful." Elena read line after line, hands trembling. Marcus called, but she ignored it. That evening, Sophie showed up, dropping a local newspaper in her lap. On the front page was an old photo of Rosa and Victor in front of Crystal Lake, headline blazing, "Family Legacy at Risk." Elena collapsed into the chair, eyes hollow. "They've done it. They turned me into the betrayer, right in the public's eye." Sophie put a hand on her shoulder. "This is just their move. They want you rattled." Elena whispered, "They've already won, Sophie. I have everything in my hands, but the world believes them. I'm the outsider again." For the next 3 days, Elena's inbox filled with emails from distant relatives. "Elena, this isn't right. Let Victor handle it, he's the eldest son." Even some colleagues began glancing at her sideways. In a meeting, a director half-joked, "Heard you're about to become the family's real estate queen?" Laughter rippled across the room. Elena clenched her jaw in silence. She knew she was losing ground. She had the finances, the authority, but if the narrative painted her as the thief, everything could collapse. That night, Elena returned to Crystal Lake alone. Dark clouds smothered the sky, the faint moonlight glimmering on the water. She sat on the long wooden bench at the porch, the same spot she had once been shooed away from. Tears spilled, but this time they weren't weakness. Her phone buzzed. Rosa's name glowed. Elena hesitated, then answered. Her mother's voice came smooth, tinged with mockery. Elena, still clinging to that house? Don't you understand? Crystal Lake belongs to tradition, and only the worthy can keep tradition. Elena bit down, answering softly. Worthy? And what about me? 20 years of exclusion wasn't enough? Rosa sighed. You may be good on paper, but you've never understood family. The call ended, leaving a silence that cut deep. Elena stared at the lake, fire rising in her chest. In that moment, she remembered the phrase that had haunted her for years. Whoever owns the house keeps the tradition. Rosa's rule. The very rule Elena now had the power to flip. She shot up, wiping her tears. If that's the law, I'll use their law to end this game. In her hands, she already had the evidence. Bad debt records, the short sale draft, the new deed. They had public opinion, but she had the truth. And this time, she wouldn't just defend herself. She would return every wound she'd ever endured. Elena gripped her brown leather notebook, the one she'd carried since the day she left home. In her mind, a new plan began to form. This wasn't survival anymore. This would be revenge, built on the very rule Rosa once declared. Setup rule was ready to become her weapon. Elena began with the first step, collection. Long nights in her lavish yet cold penthouse were spent spreading documents across the table. Files from her lawyer, records of bad debt, photos of the mansion's decay, all organized into color-coded stacks. Marcus supported her by pulling records from the county office. Here are the unpaid tax files, 3 years delinquent, and here are the mortgage loans under Victor's name, with Rosa as cosigner. He slid the stacks across. Elena skimmed them, a faint smile appearing. They thought they could hide this. Every number here is a blade. Sophie contributed too. She dug up old news articles, comparing Crystal Lake's condition over the years. Elena, look. Roof damage, cracked windows, rotted railings. I even got fresh drone shots, proof the house was on the edge of collapse. Drone photo set, rotted railings, collapse risk. Elena carefully stored them on an encrypted drive. Good. They may spin emotional stories, but I have the legal and visual proof. The plan couldn't be hers alone. Elena needed allies. She arranged to meet Marcus and Sophie at a small cafe in Denver's Old Quarter. Warm yellow light, the faint smell of waffles. Marcus set his coffee down. We need coordination. I'll handle the legal side. Sophie takes media. Elena, you focus on strategy. Sophie nodded. If they smear you, I'll counter with objective data. Images, financial records, facts will be our witness. Elena looked at them both, voice steady. We must stay ahead. I won't just prove I have the legal right. I'll show them the tradition they boast about only survives because I saved it. In their triangle, each role was clear. Marcus, internal ally in finance and law, connected with the county office. Sophie, PR strategist, managing media, shaping public opinion. Elena, the center, the one holding the final authority. For the first time, Elena knew she wasn't alone, but no plan could succeed without risks. Elena decided on a bold step, exposing part of the truth at the family gathering Rosa was calling. Are you sure? Marcus frowned as Elena explained. If you expose them too soon, they could turn it on you. I know, Elena replied coldly, but I need them on a public stage, every word, every reaction witnessed. No more hiding. Sophie interjected. The biggest risk is emotion. Your mother could cry, claiming she only wanted to protect tradition. Victor could pose as the self-sacrificing brother. If the public buys it, you lose everything. Elena paused, then nodded. I accept that. It's the gamble I have to take. I can't fight forever in the shadows. So she mapped out the details. Legal. Marcus would prepare everything. The new deed, unpaid tax receipts, the pending short sale contract. All ready to reveal instantly. Media. Sophie would tip off local journalists, hinting at a major revelation during the family meeting. That way, it wouldn't just be private, it would be under public scrutiny. Personal strategy. Elena rehearsed her words. No wasted emotions, no pointless arguments, just fact after fact, drawing them into their own traps. She even prepared the setting. renting out a private section of a five-star hotel, disguised as a family reunion. The family would think they were reclaiming honor, but it would be her battleground. Marcus asked, "What makes you sure they'll walk into this?" Elena only smirked. "Their arrogance. Victor can't resist showing off. Rosa can't resist the gaze of relatives. Their blind pride is my leverage." Yet Elena knew the risks ran deep. Public opinion risk. If Rosa turned the narrative skillfully, Elena would be branded ungrateful daughter once more, with no way back. Legal risk. If Golden Pine Investments produced valid documents in court, her purchase could be frozen. Emotional risk. Isolation and pressure could crack her voice at the key moment, losing her edge. Career risk. If scandal dragged on, her firm might view her as a PR liability, jeopardizing her Singapore post. Marcus kept warning, "One mistake, Elena, and everything you've built could crumble." Elena nodded, but her eyes burned. "Then I won't make one. I've been discarded for 20 years. This time, I refuse to fail." While Marcus and Sophie thought the plan revolved around legal and media fronts, Elena kept silent about one thing. She had a final piece of evidence, a secret ace, something no one else knew. She locked it in her personal safe, sharing with no one. "Not yet. When everything around them collapses, I'll drop this, and then there'll be no way back." Everything seemed aligned. Elena felt she had seized control. Documents ready, allies committed, media staged. But then, a phone call shattered it. Sophie's voice trembled through the line. "Elena, we have a problem. Victor just filed a motion to contest your purchase at county court. And worse, he announced that Golden Pine Investments has officially secured bank approval to finance their acquisition of Crystal Lake." Elena froze. This was the unexpected blow, a counterstrike threatening the entire plan. She clutched the phone, breath quickening. If the bank is backing them, then everything I've built could turn to smoke. In the five-star hotel suite Elena had rented as her temporary command center, papers and laptop screens covered the glossy wooden table. Marcus set a folder of legal documents in front of her. The new deed, cleared tax receipts, and the pending short sale contract. Evidence number 4, tax clearance, timestamp pet, Crystal Lake back taxes fully paid by Elena Ramirez, confirmed by Denver County Office. "This is your first weapon," Marcus stressed. "If they claim you don't have the right, you show this." Sophie scrolled through the presentation slides on her iPad. "I'll project drone footage, clips of the repairs, with the caption, 'Who really saved Crystal Lake from collapse?'" Elena gave a faint nod, her eyes cold. "They think they'll humiliate me in front of the family, but this will be my stage." The reunion day arrived. The hotel gleamed, long tables draped in white linens, crystal chandeliers blazing overhead. The Ramirez family entered together, Rosa in a deep blue dress, Victor stiff in his suit, Camila lingering behind. Relatives dotted the room, with a few local reporters Sophie had invited off the record. Rosa lifted her chin. "This is a family event, Elena. Don't turn it into your show." Elena's voice was calm. "Family? For 20 years I was never counted as part of it. Today we speak the truth." She stepped to the podium, clicker in hand. The first slide appeared. Images of Crystal Lake's decay, rotted railing, leaking roof, cracked shingles. Murmurs rippled through the hall. "This was the mansion's condition when I bought it," Elena said firmly. "The so-called tradition you boast about was nothing but a shell." She held up the tax receipt, evidence number 4. "I cleared every debt to keep this place from foreclosure. Without it, Crystal Lake would already belong to the bank." Victor shot to his feet, shouting, "Lies! Golden Pine had prepared to buy it. You were just an interloper." Rosa rose too, her tone heavy with theatrics. "Elena, you betrayed your family. You used the law to steal tradition." Suddenly, Victor yanked a thick file from his case and slammed it on the table. "Here's the bank's credit approval for Golden Pine. We had the financial means, and you tricked your way in." The hall erupted. Relatives whispered, maybe Elena did go too far. A reporter pressed, "Do you have proof you didn't cheat this process?" Elena froze. For a moment, her plan felt like it was collapsing. The tide of the room tilted toward Rosa and Victor. Even Camila whispered, "Sister, maybe you've gone too far." Elena's throat tightened. This was their ambush. If she backed down now, everything would vanish. She drew a deep breath, steadying her pulse. Turning to Marcus, she said, "Give me the secondary file." He hesitated, then placed it in her hand. Elena raised it high. Golden Pine? You expect me to believe it's independent? Look closer. On the screen appeared the company registration, filed only 4 weeks earlier, the representative a longtime family lawyer. Golden Pine is a shell. And who's behind it? Rosa Ramirez, the woman who claims to guard tradition. The hall went dead silent. Rosa's face blanched. No, that's not true, she stammered. But Elena followed with the bank documents proving Rosa's guarantee. You never intended to protect tradition, Elena declared. You wanted to wipe away debts, save face, and erase me from the family once and for all. Gasps filled the room. A reporter scribbled furiously, cameras swinging toward Rosa and Victor. Elena's voice softened, but every word cut. For 20 years, I was excluded from your dinners, your parties, your memories. But today, I stand here with the deed in my hand. And by my mother's own words, whoever owns the house keeps the tradition. From now on, I define tradition. She let the words hang heavy in the air. Marcus and Sophie exchanged relieved glances, believing Elena had turned the tide. But just as victory seemed near, Victor began to clap slowly. Well played, Elena. But did you really think you're the only one who knows the law? He held up his phone, projecting an email from the county office. Notice of objection to transfer. Golden Pine Investments. Status, pending. Victor sneered. As long as this filing is under review, your purchase is frozen. While the clock runs, public opinion sides with us. You'll be left with nothing but worthless papers. The room buzzed with shock. Reporters muttered. One whispered, if that's valid, Elena's contract may not be secure. Elena's hand clenched, veins rising. Another unexpected blow, her plans shaken again. Marcus leaned close, whispering, Elena, use the final evidence. But she shook her head. Not yet. She strode down from the podium, straight to Rosa's table, and bent close. You think you can freeze me out? Fine, but remember, time isn't on your side. Each day I remain the legal keyholder, and in every press briefing I'll tell the real story. Rosa flinched, though she tried to stay composed. Elena returned to the podium, sweeping her gaze across the hall. You may doubt me, you may resist, but I am ready for every battle. This is no longer personal, this is truth. The room went still, tension sharp as glass. Elena closed the file, her voice low and deliberate. This game isn't over. I have one last move. The screen snapped to black, plunging the hall into silence. Every eye fixed on Elena, curious, fearful, suspicious. In the dim light, Elena tightened her grip on the brown leather notebook. One last move. The secret card no one expected was waiting to be played. The gray morning light filled the grand conference hall of the five-star hotel, Elena's carefully prepared battleground. A long wooden table draped in white linen, microphones placed at the center, chairs arranged like a hearing. Not only the Ramirez relatives were present, but also reporters, county officials, and bank representatives. This was no reunion anymore. It was an open court where truth would be forced into daylight. Rosa sat upright in her dark blue dress, posture sharp, eyes straining to hold authority. Victor beside her looked flushed, eyes bloodshot from sleepless nights. Camila sat with her head down, hands trembling. And Elena, clad in a black suit, walked in, as though the stage belonged to her. Let's begin, Elena said, her voice cold and precise. Today there will be no excuses, only truth. She signaled Sophie to start the projector. Evidence number 1, the exclusion email. On the screen flashed the familiar subject line, Family Reunion at Crystal Lake, save the date. The recipient list glaringly omitted Elena's name. Gasps rippled through the hall. I was never invited. For 20 years, this is how my family erased me, time and time again. Evidence number 2, the new deed. Elena held up the official folder from the county office. Crystal Lake Holdings LLC, Representative Elena Ramirez. Legally, I am the sole owner. Evidence number 3, the short sale draft. The next slide displayed the Golden Pine Investments draft contract, a shell company created only to seize Crystal Lake. And the hand behind it? Rosa Ramirez. Elena pointed directly at her mother. Murmurs erupted, cameras zooming on Rosa's pale face. Evidence number 4, cleared tax receipts. Sophie displayed the receipt. Elena Ramirez had paid all back taxes, preventing foreclosure. This house didn't survive on vague tradition. It exists today because of my money and my work. Rosa shot to her feet, shouting, How dare you humiliate your mother in front of everyone? Elena didn't blink. No, mother, I'm simply reading the numbers you chose to ignore. The air grew heavy, suffocating. But Elena wasn't done. She reached into her bag, pulling out a small USB drive, holding it high. And this is the final evidence. The screen lit up with an audio recording. Victor's voice rang, urgent. Mom, if we sign with Golden Pine, Elena will be shut out completely. She'll never have a way back. Rosa's voice answered, cold and cutting. Exactly. She was never worthy of Crystal Lake. This time, we finish it. The hall fell into dead silence. A reporter leapt up. Mrs. Ramirez, do you deny this is your voice? Rosa opened her mouth, but no words came. Victor roared, who authorized this recording? Elena's reply was sharp. The law allows it with one party's consent, and the one who consented was Camila. All eyes turned. Camila burst into tears. I couldn't take it anymore. I gave Elena the recording. I knew you were wrong. There was no way out now. The county representative stood, voice clear. Based on lawful evidence presented, Crystal Lake ownership belongs solely to Elena Ramirez. Golden Pine's objection is void, proven as a cover-up. The hall erupted. Relatives whispered in shock. Reporters scribbled frantically, cameras flashing. Consequences now fell swiftly. Rosa, humiliated before family and the public, cornered by reporters asking, why did you conspire to erase your own daughter? Her face drained, her voice cracked, all authority gone. Victor, the evidence of debt and recordings branded him not only incompetent, but deceitful. The bank immediately announced a review of all his loan files. Camila, sobbing openly, but at least seen as the one who dared side with truth. Elena scanned the room, her voice rising with force. For 20 years you treated me as a shadow. Today I stand with facts, with law, with evidence. Justice doesn't belong to the loudest voice, it belongs to the one with proof. Sophie stepped up, whispering, you did it, they have nothing left. Marcus nodded, a faint smile crossing his face. Elena drew a deep breath, her eyes gleaming with cold fire. This is not just my victory, this is justice. Justice they can no longer escape. She turned her back, walking away from the table. Behind her, Rosa collapsed into her chair. Victor slammed his fist against his empty folder. At the door, Elena paused, her voice cutting through the room one last time. This story isn't closed. Today was justice. Tomorrow, I decide how tradition is written. Justice was served. But for Elena, a new chapter, one filled with harder battles, was only beginning. Crystal Lake was no longer a battleground, but a symbol of a shift in power. The consequences hit each of those who once stood against Elena. Victor nearly collapsed. After the bank investigation, all his loans were frozen, and his small business ventures crumbled one by one. Without his mother to bail him out, he was forced to sell his only valuable possession, a sports car, and take a job at a mid-level construction company. The arrogant laughter of old was gone, replaced by the weary face of a man finally realizing he had never truly grown up. Rosa lost every shred of credibility within the family. The dinners she once hosted drew no guests. She faced the disappointed stares of those who had once praised her as the resilient matriarch guarding tradition. Her remaining years played out in a small rental house on the outskirts of Denver, where silence replaced the commanding voice she had once wielded. Camila was the rare bright spot. Though she had once sided with her mother and brother, her courage in handing Elena the recording changed the way people saw her. She began learning to live independently, attending training courses, even sending Elena weekly texts of apology. Elena read them all. She didn't always reply, but at least she left a door open for her younger sister, the one person still capable of redemption. As for Elena, she stepped fully into her new life. From her Denver penthouse, she prepared to depart for Singapore to take her position as regional CEO of Asia. The family reunion schedule no longer belonged to Rosa or Victor. Elena set the rules now, alternating between Crystal Lake and Singapore. Tradition was preserved, but this time under terms of fairness and transparency. Standing on the porch overlooking Crystal Lake, Elena allowed herself a faint smile. The past couldn't be erased, but the present belonged to her. And for the first time, she felt she truly held both her family and her future in her hands. Tradition is only worth keeping when it comes with responsibility. True success doesn't seek revenge to destroy, it reclaims the right to define yourself, with fair rules and clear boundaries. What about you? If you were in Elena's place, excluded by your own family for 20 years, would you stay silent and accept it, or would you rise up to claim your right to exist? Would you dare to turn pain into power and rewrite the rules the way she did? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Every perspective adds a deeper layer of meaning to these revenge stories. And if you want to continue following these bittersweet yet powerful journeys of justice, don't forget to subscribe to the True Revenge Stories channel. Hit like and share this video so others can hear them too. Have you checked out the playlist, The Most Unexpected Turnarounds yet? Each story there feels like a slap to Betrayal, and a reminder that justice often arrives in ways no one could predict. Do you want to hear more tales of families exposed for their lies, or dramatic comebacks in love and marriage? They're all waiting for you in that playlist, just one click away. Join us as we uncover these stories, where justice, in the end, always finds its way back.